What is a dungeon master?
They're everything. You are a actor, storyteller, fighter, conversationalist, environmentalist, everything in between your players. You're the environment, you're the blades of grass in between their toes, you're the wind in their face, you're the enemies jumping out of the trees and smashing down on them with a big old club. You're everything to the players besides the players. So, where do we begin?
You know what? Let's remain biblically accurate for this video. Page 4, second paragraph under Dungeon Master of the introduction, pretty much outlines your entire job as a Dungeon Master in a single paragraph. A Dungeon Master gets to wear many hats. As the architect of a campaign, the DM creates adventures by placing monsters, traps, and treasures for the other players' characters, the adventurers, to discover. As a storyteller, the DM helps the other players visualize what's happening around them, improvising when the adventurers do something or go somewhere unexpected. As an actor, the DM plays the roles of monsters and supporting characters, breathing life into them. And as a referee, the DM interprets the rules and decides when to abide by them and when to change them.
Starting with the architect, this is what I think everyone understands to be the DM's job is obviously what is the campaign? What is the world in which the players are going to be thrown into? This is the DM's probably main job and takes up probably 50% of your time as a DM is understanding what is the world that the players are going to be a part of. In my thought process, your job to construct this environment verbally as the players are there. What are they doing? What are they smelling? What are they feeling? What is the world around them? And this can take a lot of work, but is also one of the more simple tasks as a DM.
The way I like to look at it is you're writing a story, but you're co-writing it with your players, right? You present them with options and opportunities and different things that they're able to do. And depending on what they choose affects the outcome of the story. And you're able to effectively write your own complete novel in a sense with everybody at the table. It's not just you and it's not just your players. You work all together to create that story.
That moves us into the storyteller
Yeah.
aspect of being a DM, making sure that the quest points and the people that they run into all link together and have a purpose. That there's a purpose to what the players are doing. It makes them feel important and they actually understand where they're supposed to be going in the campaign, what drives them, what's pushing them towards that end goal of your overall campaign.
I think that your job as a DM is to make sure that that story unfolds continuously as you work with your players, right? Different things, as they choose different things, is going to shift the outcome of your campaign, which is made up of many different small adventures and allows you to create an entire story with its full arc and everything that you need.
Your job is to also act and involve the characters in social intrigue, not only outside of combat but inside combat. This doesn't mean that you have to wear a costume, that you have to talk in some funky voice as the bartender. I
Although
mean,
you
it
can.
makes things, yes, it makes things exciting, but that's also a point that a lot of people find this uncomfortable, and is not necessary, but it can help everyone get into character.
One of the key pieces of acting also comes with a lot of improv, right? There's going to be times when players get outside the bounds of what you may have prepped. And that is a key piece as a dungeon master is to being able to keep the game progressing in a manner to where things don't completely halt as soon as, one player steps off the side of the sidewalk and into the grass.
Continuing on with that point of making sure that they don't derail, when it comes to rules as a DM and knowing what they are, it's not super important that you know every single rule, but it's also important that you don't slog down your campaign every single time someone comes across something. Well, how do we do this? Is this against the rules? Can I do this? Instead of stopping and going and searching through the DMG and looking for the rules, make a ruling, move on, and look it up later. And so temporarily, you have changed the rules, which in the DMG it states the rules are guidelines. You are the DM and you are in charge.
Yeah, your job as a dungeon master is to practically keep the game running as smoothly as you possibly can. That means that players feel important. Players feel like their choices matter. They feel that their choices are affecting the outcome of the campaign as well.
Right.
And that, they have a fun time while doing it.
Yeah, and the important part of all this is there are many points for you as a DM to remember, but not all of them will you remember all the time. So find what you're good at. If you're great at storytelling and acting, but you're not so good at coming up with an adventure or plot hook, well, take one of the pre-written modules, run with one of those so that you can focus on the two things that you're good at. And this will allow you to also not stress so much about every single point and making everything perfect, but it makes it so that your players still enjoy the campaign and it feels like you as a DM have created something marvelous because you are doing what you enjoy. And that is what is important, is your table having fun, including yourself.
Yeah, and just don't ever forget, the DMG may be this big guideline of how you could run your games, but again, it is your world, it is your creation. Help keep your players happy, and in return, you will enjoy the game a lot more.